we're about to teach you how to get a body like Ryan Reynolds. Before I get into Ryan's exact regimen, I want to talk a little bit about who this dude is, what he does for a living, what he has access to, and really all the things that are at play that are allowing him to create this physique. So let's start with where he is right now. The guy is 40 years old, so he's getting up there a little bit, a little older than me. I'm 27. He's also a pretty decently built guy. He's about the same height and weight as me. He's 6'2" and 190 pounds. So to give you a frame of reference, I'm 6'2", about 185. So when he gets into some of these roles I'm going to talk about later in this video where he's trying to bulk up a bit, that's when he gets to around 190 and sometimes even heavier. We'll talk about that later. But before we get into that, let's talk about the facts, all right? I know a lot of people watch some of these celebrity breakdown videos and they start to make excuses immediately, all right? And I'm right there with you. I understand, like, you don't have a personal trainer to work with you every single day like Ryan Reynolds does. You don't have your own registered dietitian that is putting together all your meals. You don't have your own private cook that's gonna help you put together all these meals, all right? You don't have a massage therapist to make sure you recover properly. Or maybe you do, maybe you have all these things. But if you don't understand that, I'm gonna talk to you about what Ryan did, and I'm also going to share a little bit about my own philosophy on how normal people can create this physique with your life and the things that you have access to. So whether you have access to all the resources that Ryan does or not, getting his physique is possible for you, as long as your genetics allow you to create that physique. Let's talk about this realistically here. If you're not 6'2", you can't work out and become 6'2". You're as tall as you are, and so we're gonna talk about in general how to create a lean, muscular physique. We can't help you get taller. We can't change your bone structure. So we're gonna help you get lean and muscular so you can start to look a little bit more like he does in his superhero roles. So Ryan, I've never met Ryan. I don't know Ryan. Ryan, if you wanna hang out sometime, let me know. But from what I've seen from his regimen, what I've read about it, what I've heard about it, is he's a Zen dude. He goes in cycles of working really hard to create the physique that he wants, and then besides that, he just tries to move his body as much as possible. So when he was younger, when he was a younger dude, he was naturally, genetically, a lean, more skinny, slender guy. So starting with that physique, he didn't have a lot of weight to lose. Really, his biggest goal whenever he was preparing for these roles was to help him put on more muscle mass so he looked more like a superhero and less like, you know, a skinny, slender dude who couldn't help a guy who got his purse snatched by a robber. Over the years, he has put on the muscle mass and has created that Zen dude physique through a lot of consistency. But what's interesting about what Ryan does is he's not like a real fitness buff, right? Like, he likes to move his body in general. So when he's not preparing for a role, he's going around hiking, you know, he's swimming, he's walking, he's doing types of exercises that he enjoys doing. He's moving his body in ways that are fun to him. But when he gets really serious about a role, that's when he plugs into a regimen where, you know, he's lifting 5 or 6 times a week, where he's eating all these small meals throughout the day, where he's doing all these things that are super intense because he knows that if he does all these things, he's gonna get to his target goal in less time. So let's talk about some of these things that he's been doing. So when we talk about Ryan Reynolds' physique, we're most specifically talking about some of his more recent roles where he was a superhero. For example, Blade 3, where the dude was straight shredded and really did look like a superhero. Onto the Green Lantern, where again, he was lean, he was muscular. And then most recently, Deadpool. Love that movie. He looked awesome in it, and he had a very athletic and muscular and lean physique that allowed him to do everything he needed to do to save the day and be an absolute stud. So when we're talking about his physique, we're not talking about the Van Wilder days, we're more so talking about these superhero physiques like Blade 3, Green Lantern, and Deadpool. So how was he eating when he was going through these really intense stretches where he was getting ready for these roles? Well, I'll be honest with you, it's not how I eat, it's not the most fun way to eat, but it is a great way to put on muscle. He was eating like a bodybuilder. He was doing the bodybuilding diet where he was eating just about every 2 hours. So that would put him on a regimen where he's eating 6 to 8 times a day. And so he's eating smaller meals, but he's also eating in a calorie surplus. And so for those of you who've heard us talk about this in videos in the past, you probably know that you need to be in a calorie surplus if you're going to put on weight, most specifically here for Ryan and what we want to put on muscle, all right? So if you're a naturally lean, slender guy, then this could actually be beneficial to you to eat a lot of these small meals to keep you in an anabolic state and to help you get all the calories and macronutrients in that you need to be in a calorie surplus. So what I've seen in the research out there says that it doesn't matter if you eat 6 to 8 small meals a day or if you eat one giant meal. It's mostly about the total amount of food that you're putting in your body throughout an entire day, right? And really stretching out to a week period and saying in a week, how much are you eating on average? Are you eating more calories than you're expending? If you are, and you're getting your protein, which is the most important macronutrient for putting on lean muscle mass, if you're getting enough protein in, which is usually plus or minus 1 gram protein per pound of body weight, you can do 0.8 per pound of body weight as well, depending on how serious you are about your goals. But you're gonna wanna hit those calories and macronutrients like he did if you want to create that physique that has a decent amount of muscle mass. And so what are you eating? What kind of foods do you eat when you're eating this much? Well, again, I'm gonna tell you what Ryan did. He was eating a lot of boring foods. He was eating, for carbohydrates, things like oatmeal without sugar. For protein, he was eating, beef, lean beef, chicken, eggs, protein bars, protein shakes, all the bodybuilding stuff. And for fats, more healthy fats, avocados, healthy oils, nuts. And if you look up a basic bodybuilding diet, like this is what he was on. And I'm assuming he was put on this program by a trainer, by some dude in LA who was like, yo, I'm still buying into this pseudoscience that it's so important to eat boring foods and to eat every 2 hours if you want to put on muscle mass. Now, I don't personally agree with that philosophy, but I'm gonna tell you what he did, and that is exactly what he did. He was eating every 2 hours. He was eating foods that aren't that fun, but the most important reason why he got results, I cannot argue with, is that he was eating in a calorie surplus. So for you, if you want to eat in a calorie surplus to be able to put on weight and put on lean muscle, check out our calculator, link in the description below. If you're a guy and you want to create the Ryan Reynolds physique, you're going to enter all your info in that calculator, and then what you're going to do is you're going to click calculate, and you're going to scroll to the bottom of the calculator again, and you are going to click protein, and you're going to put it on high, and then you're going to calculate it again. And all this is going to do is going to slightly increase the amount of protein you're going to consume per day, because it's slightly different from men to women. If you're a woman and you want a Reynolds physique, which doesn't really make sense, but if you do, then you're going to calculate your protein on medium, guys on high. Guys on high, women on medium. Let's move on to talking about his workout regimen. So here's an example eating day from Ryan Reynolds I found on the internet. I assume it's decently qualified. What you do is for breakfast he would have a couple eggs, and he have some quote unquote good fats, so almond butter or avocado, something like that, and then also a cup of oatmeal with some applesauce for his carbohydrates. Now on to the mid-morning, he would have a protein bar for a snack, and then on to lunch, he would have maybe something like a tuna wrap or chicken and some salad. Again, not that fun and exciting, but he was keeping it simple to make sure he hit his numbers. Mid-afternoon, he would do something like another snack where he get himself a protein bar or a protein shake and throw an apple and some almonds on top of that. And then for dinner, he would do something like boiled fish or chicken with brown rice, vegetables, and a salad. And then finally, for evening snack, he would have a protein shake. This guy was trying to get those protein numbers in, so obviously you see that trickle through his entire day. Ryan Reynolds was working out 6 days a week, about 3 hours per day. Now this may sound insane, it may sound like something that you can't personally do, but I do think it's fun to talk about the regimen he's doing, because this was like his full-time job for a while. He's preparing for a role, so he's getting paid and has all the systems in place to train for 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, because he knows that he's gonna get paid for the role, and the goal is just to look a certain way so he can do it. He can invest that time into it. Now I can talk about later on how you can spend less than 3 hours a day to get a similar result that he got. But when we're talking about what he did personally, it was 3 hours a day, because he split up his routine into lifting weights 6 days a week, where he was hitting a different body part every single day. So that, for example, that would be Monday, he's hitting just legs, Tuesday, just chest, Wednesday, just arms, Thursday, just shoulders, Friday, just doing back, Saturday, just hitting abs. And so when you get in a regimen like that, it is optimal for muscle building, because you're just hitting it once a week. You're giving yourself ample time to recover, and as long as you're resting enough, you should be okay. And so what was he doing for the rest of the time, right? Because the weightlifting probably only took an hour to an hour and a half per day. The other hour and a half to 2 hours was spent doing different types of stunt training. I'm not sure exactly how to tell you to train for this. I would say grab a jump rope. We talk about jump rope on this channel and work on your agility, because what he was getting out of this stunt training was a lot of high intensity cardio, because when he was learning to do kicks and punches and learning how to jump and do all these cool looking moves, he was burning a lot of calories because it's high intensity movement. So I don't know, unless you have access to a stuntman, I would say pick up a jump rope. We'll link one in the description below, and just go all out with your intensity, 20-30 minutes with the jump rope to make sure that as you're putting on muscle mass, you're also staying lean and you're chiseling out that body. So although he did spend some days specifically working on abs, I am gonna throw in here really quick that he did do abs for 20 minutes before every single workout day as well. Now, I think this is a little bit excessive, but it's up to you. If you want to do 20 minutes of abs just like he did every single day, you can. I would recommend more so just doing abs maybe 2 to 3 times a week and just doing really intense 10 to 15 minute circles. So that's basically it for the workout regimen for Ryan. Let's talk really quickly about supplements. He's not a big supplement guy, but he was taking creatine monohydrate for a short period of time. Now, creatine has been shown to be very effective for helping you build muscle. It's not like steroids, it's not harmful. If you take it too much, like anything else can be hard on your liver, probably just as hard on your liver as it is to have a beer a few times a week. So he would incorporate creatine into his regimen to help him put muscle mass on. He would also have glutamine in his daily regimen as well. And then finally, he was taking a multivitamin to make sure he got his micronutrients in. So this video is focused mostly on putting on muscle mass. And so I hope that you got the highlights from this video are you need to be eating in a calorie surplus, so consuming more calories than you're expending. You need to be getting ample protein, and so you can figure those numbers out by checking out our calculator linked below in the description. You need to be lifting weights 3 to 5 times a week minimum. He was doing, like I said before, 6 times a week. And if you want to make sure that you are gaining muscle mass and then leaning out again, if you get a little softer and you put a little fat on with that, then at that point you can incorporate what he was doing was a little bit of fight training. What we do over here as Zen Do Fitness is jump rope, but just do some kind of high intensity interval training cardio to help you stay lean as you're putting on that muscle mass. Also, something that I want to mention about Ryan's regimen is it's not sustainable for normal life. So take all this with a grain of salt. This is a guy who's preparing for movie roles. And so yes, he's working out 3 hours a day, and yes, he's eating this obsessive diet, but it goes for a short period of time. This may last 3 to 6 months in a chunk of time. And then after that, he goes back to like living his normal life. So if you want something that's more sustainable, maybe you don't lift 6 times a week for 3 hours a day. Maybe instead you're just working out 3 to 5 times a week. You're being more conscious about the food you're putting in your body. You're trying to eat, more nutrient dense, whole foods, trying to eat the right amount of food, so getting your calories and macronutrients in. And then finally, making sure that you rest and take care of yourself, because you're not doing that, you're gonna burn out, and you're not going to stay consistent with the program you plugged into. To sum it up, guys, my suggested workouts for gaining muscles are gonna be going hard with weights 3 times a week, and then throwing in a couple days of jump rope high intensity exercise as well. We'll link some workouts for you in the right-hand corner of the screen right now, and also at the end of this video, because those workouts only take about 30 to 40 minutes and help you stay lean. Finally, you guys, do not burn yourself out when you try to do a routine like this. If you don't ever work out, build your way up to doing something like the regimen I outlined that Ryan did for these roles. Remember, he's done this before. He's 40 years old. He has a lot of experience training, and he has a lot of experience training for getting the specific superhero physique. So it doesn't happen in a day, it doesn't happen in a week, doesn't happen in a month. This stuff takes time. It could take months, it could take years. Start getting consistent, move your body in ways you enjoy. If you want to gain muscle, eat the right amount of food, lift weights, have fun with your regimen. And you guys, if you want to check out other breakdowns like this one that I just did, I'll throw them on the screen somewhere up here for you right now. And if you want to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this and other videos teaching you how to jump rope, get lean, have more fun, subscribe to the channel, click the button, and we'll catch you on the next Zen Do Fitness video.